So I wasn't necessarily looking to do a musical. I wasn't searching for one. But when something like this comes along, I was like, I have to kind of go with this.
Well, hello there, Tom Hayden-Millward here for What's on Stage, and today I'm at the Young Vic for the opening night of Passing Strange. Earlier I caught up with the show's leading man, Giles Terera, as well as its director, Tony Award nominee Liesl to get the lowdown on this European premiere production.
What attracted me to this particular project was, I don't know really, I wasn't aware of it when it happened on Broadway. I was aware of it, but I didn't know the show, I didn't see the show. And a friend of mine told me it was happening here, and I listened to it. And something, which I can't quite put my finger on, just sort of caught me. And usually if that happens, I know it's something that I want to do or pursue.
Well, I did see this originally, I think it was in 2008. I saw it at the Public Theater and then on Broadway. And I really loved it. It was electrifying. It wasn't your normal kind of musical. There was a real rock and roll pulse to it, not like a musical theater rock and roll, but actual rock and roll pulse to it, which I'm always looking for. I'm always looking for something that pushes the form.
One of the things which definitely attracted me was working with Liesl, because for me it's as much about who I'm going to be working with as what the thing is. And usually if the director has chosen this project and I'm a real admirer of the director, then I know there's something in there which is going to be good about the piece, which was the case here. It's a fantastic piece.
And when the producers reached out to me about it, my first question was, isn't it too soon to revive this? And then we realized it was quite a while ago. And then I said, absolutely. This is a musical about a man's journey to his inner self and also to his higher purpose, all with a rock and roll score. It is one of my favorite musicals. And I just felt like I could do something really cool with it. So for me, it was an immediate yes.
Within the score, there's a massive, I think, understanding of the breadth of different kinds of music. So there is gospel stuff in there, because the story starts with the hero of the story being in church and having that whole influence. Then there's a punk influence and there's a rock influence. Then he comes over to Europe and there's the whole sort of
post-punk vibes.
Post-punk vibes, that's right. And then he gets to the movies, so there's that whole influence of movie score music. So, and there is a little nod to musical theatre. So what there is a massive understanding about a wide range of music, and somehow they weave it together to create something which is absolutely theatre, but is also authentically whichever genre or style it's portraying at that particular moment.
One of the things that drew me to this musical, other than the music, is the story. And it's a story, one of the lines in the musical that I've always found hilarious and very moving is this idea that the adult version of yourself looks back and thinks, wow, the most important decisions of my life was made by a teenager, high teenager. And, you know, this sort of like rocker lifestyle is very much the case. And this is a man looking back on his life and his decisions as an artist, as a rocker, and thinking about every important relationship that he's had, how that person changed him, and whether or not he showed gratitude, whether or not he showed humanity and humility to that person, or whether or not he just took from them.
As Liesl said, it's about the decisions that we make as a young person, and then having to, what does, cut to a blink of an eye, 20 years later, 25 years later, how do those two things match up or not? And what was the cost of going after that thing?
I discovered theater when I was 14. I did 2 shows. One was a play called For Colored Girls Who've Considered Suicide, and that was the same year, 15 actually, the year my family immigrated to America from South Africa, and it was a really rocky transition. But that show changed my life, and then immediately after that, I did a production of Romeo and Juliet, and I just thought very clearly, oh, so this is what my life will be. And I kind of relentlessly pursued it, and it's panned out. So my 14-year-old self made the right decisions.
My 14-year-old self, I was in bands at 14. So when I was 13, I was a drummer in a band, and then the guitarist left, so I took over playing guitar, and they also sang, so I ended up doing that. So I was in bands, and that's what I wanted to do before theatre. I didn't know about theatre at that point. So we were playing all over Hertfordshire, and we come to London and we gig stuff. Interestingly enough, last year I was thinking, actually, you know, I'd love to get a band together. I'd love to play in a band, which I haven't done really. I write music and I play on my own, but I haven't played in a band for a while. And I was like, maybe I should get a band together. And that was last year. That was last summer. So again, when this came up, it was like, okay. So I try not to kind of question things too much. To go, okay, this is what's happened now. This is what's presented in front of me now. I'm going to kind of go with that. It really caught my attention, the fact that the play is called Passing Strange, which comes from, I'm not sure quite how it came in the writing, but the line is from Shakespeare play Othello, which I did last year, so that caught my attention. And in the context of the play Othello, he says Othello has just told the entire Senate about how he told Desdemona about his whole life. And then he says, and she swore in faith, 'twas strange, 'twas passing strange. Now in the context of the play, passing in sort of Elizabethan times could mean like very or extremely. But there's also the context, which is the great thing about this piece, is there's so many layers of things. There's also the context, which happens in the play, of the character saying this African-American idea of passing. Someone can pass for white, or someone can pass for any number of things. And in the play, he sort of explores that a little bit. So there's this kind of double use of the word passing. Now, when Othello tells that story to Desdemona, he tells her good and bad. He tells her everything. He doesn't just try to sugarcoat it. He says, this is my entire life. This is the horrible stuff. This is the good stuff. This is the bad stuff, the unfortunate stuff. And she weeps and she cries. There's an authenticity and an openness to it. And that I felt was really present in this piece. It's like, this is who I am. This is how I behaved, and this is what I did. Some of it I would do again, some of it I wouldn't do again. But that interrogation is really useful because it's an active thing. So an audience gets to see someone really kind of going through something and trying to be as honest as they can with it. And we've tried to come up with a reason of, well, why does that person have to be as honest? Why does that person have to go through this right now? I'm not going to say what that is, but hopefully it will mean that the piece that you're watching is something which is really alive and that the audience can really kind of go on a journey with.
Passing Strange continues its European premiere run here at the Young Vic until the 6th of July 2024. As always, you can leave your thoughts about the show in the comments section down below, but please, for the love of post-punk vibes, keep it kind, and remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and ring that bell for notifications. And I'll see you next time for What's on Stage.
See, that's why she's a director, because she's in charge.